I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different, and every breakup is different. Work with me, and you'll get professional help on your situation. Just click on the link in the description below, or go to my website, askcraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth, and in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about loving someone who doesn't want you. So, one of the most difficult parts of going through a breakup is when you really love somebody and they just don't want you in their life any longer. It is absolutely one of the worst feelings in the world, and I remember going through that and just being in a state of just shock and disbelief that this person that I had such a great relationship with for so many years could not want to be with me literally in the matter of a few short weeks. And it is one of the hardest things to get over, because it's really hard to attach to somebody and feel like, okay, they could just walk away like nothing. I mean, sometimes if you're in a relationship where you fight all the time and you argue and things aren't going well, you're kind of like, well, we both gave it our best shot, and I could see why she gave up on me or whatever. But then you have relationships sometimes where things were really good and they just walked away, and it's just like, how could you do that? I just don't understand. I would literally do anything to have this back, and you would literally do nothing to have this back. So it can be incredibly difficult to go through that. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a guy that I did a Skype with yesterday morning. Very, very difficult situation. We did an email coaching, and what I'm going to be reading from is the email coaching that we did. I think it was a few weeks ago, but now that I did a Skype with him, I can elaborate on the story somewhat. But before I do that, I wanted to do a follow-up on yesterday's video, and that was relationships that will never work. Well, I got an email reply from the woman that I was talking about in the video. Thought I would share it with you, okay? So I haven't done a Skype with her. This was just solely based on an email coaching that I did with her. So she says, I watched the video, Relationships That Will Never Work, and actually cracked up at most of it. I appreciate your comical and serious responses. I do want to clarify, when I said the greatest man, there was an LOL behind it. Well, I missed that because when I had written it out, I missed that. Remember, I was kind of looking at the computer, and when I went to scroll up, I couldn't find it. So I didn't realize there was an LOL behind that. She says, that is what he thinks of himself. I do see through the veil, finally. When I did try to confront him with the fact that I had seen the emails, he did deny it, of course, but when I emailed him, he sent back the barrage of reasons as to why it wasn't true or made up. I did not have sex with him since I found out. I did get tested for STDs, and I told him. And he was always moved, which made, he just moved, which made it easy. And the fact that he may not have wanted it like that anymore. I am thinking he does not want the emotion involved in intimacy, is why he chose to write to dudes on Craigslist. I do not have reality distortion. You're saying you don't have reality distortion, but yet look at all of the awful behavior that he had that you were tolerating. So think about that. You had to distort reality somewhat in order to tolerate all that behavior. Though it may not be as bad as we originally thought it might be. I did send new girlfriend screenshots of our texts of him being mad and saying I must have sent him sent info about Craigslist incident because the night before I did say, well, I wonder how your new girlfriend would like to know. But I did not send that about him writing to dudes. I thought better of it while he was screaming slander and sue me. It was just texts of him being irate and threatening me. I don't think she liked it because she won't talk to him anymore. Okay, so she didn't say that he was texting guys on Craigslist, but she showed the irate text messages from him to her. And when she did that, that is when why the other girl stopped talking to him. I don't think she liked it because she won't talk to him anymore. He picked up the rest of his belongings today. It did not go well. She didn't expand upon that, but I really would have liked to hear that part. I am so much stronger because of your help. He said, I did send her that. I know I did not. Oh, okay, so he's still claiming that she sent messages about him hooking up with guys on Craigslist. It is his fear. I did not want him happy in a new relationship, and that was mean of me. I also protected her because this has been his triangulation pattern for years. He will do the same thing to the next girl. Yes, it hurts. I loved him anyway. How sick is that? My conclusion is if anyone gets too close, he sabotages it by distancing and starts flirting and seeing if there is someone else because no one is as good as him. He thinks. No, I do not believe that anymore, even though he said to me, you will never find a man as good as me. Maybe if you're on Mars and he's all that's there. She says, I know my email was disjointed. I wanted to bring it together, but panicked when I saw the 24-hour thing. Well, all she's talking about is I say, if you sign up for the email coaching, try and have it back to me in 24 hours. If you don't, that's okay. But I have people that wait a few weeks to get it back to me, and then I don't know who they are, and I'm trying to scramble to figure out who this person is. So, just try and get it back in that amount of time. If you can't, that's okay. I'm not going to get upset. He and I were on and off, meaning we broke up because I did not put up with it. Later, we got back together, and we got along best when there was no pressure for a relationship. I wanted to be loved and be in a secure, trusting place, but it could not happen because of the cheating, distrust, and my snooping. I know this relationship was unhealthy, and it helped me confirm it with your help, knowledge, and guidance. I should have listened to my family and friends. I felt he does not have a good side, and I am empathetic to his pain. Oh, he does have a good side. Good side. But not at the cost of my emotional health anymore. Thank you for your help, Craig. I will keep listening to you. Hopefully, I can get healthy relationship someday. I know it takes time and investment. I do not want to go fast. Some clarity on yesterday's video, which was relationships that will never work, and it sounds like she felt a lot better after getting that email coaching. But today, I wanted to talk about loving someone who doesn't want you. And I had an incredible Skype with a guy this week who was in a really tough place. And I can't blame him whatsoever. The situation is that this guy was in his late 50s, and the woman he dated was about the same age. He says, we started dating about 7 years ago, and have lived together for the last 6 years. We were engaged the last 3 years. She has 3 kids from her previous marriage, and I have 2. All the kids are living on their own. They're older, okay? So they don't live in the house. She came from a very loving and caring family. Her father passed away about 8 years ago. Her mother passed away last November. After her mother passed away is when things started to change. Well, I can tell you that losing a parent is incredibly difficult, and a lot of people go through a lot of different things when they lose a parent, and you never kind of get over it. It's a very, very difficult thing to do. I think it's probably one of the hardest things someone has to go through is losing their mom, especially, and dad too. So it does have a real impact on someone. He says she inherited her mom's home and over $500,000. She was going to rent her mom's house, but started to mention that we should move there. I told her that I would be open to moving in a few years when we were retired. Shortly after Valentine's Day, I went out of town for a business meeting. When I got back, she had packed up and moved to her mom's house. That is absolutely horrible. Can you imagine that? You go away for a couple of days for a business trip and you think everything's okay. And believe me, we talked about it in the Skype, so he did think everything was okay. He had no indication that it wasn't. As a matter of fact, she even said, because this is a trip that he took every year for business, and she even said, "Oh, how's your trip going? And I will be sure to go with you next year." Now, we talked about it, and we think that the reason she did that is she wanted to confirm that he was actually away out of town on business, and then she packed up and left. And when he got back, found the empty house. That is just beyond cruel and extremely selfish and immature. I mean, this guy seemed like a really genuine guy and absolutely heartbroken over the situation. And from what he told me, it was a good relationship. So, a lot of us feel like, how could you do this? I mean, this is just horrendous to do to somebody. And what's even worse is, it seems like a lot of it is about the money, right? She had over $500,000 that she was getting to her, and it was like, once she got that, she was poof, gone, vanished from his life. He said, when I contacted her, she first told me that we would still be a couple, but live in separate homes. But later, she would need some time and space to think about it. Well, it almost sounds like she was trying to appease him. Sure, let's take a little time and space, so he wasn't as upset, and then she slowly faded out of the picture. He says, the first day I did all the wrong things, texting, calling, and pleading. I then waited 4 days and sent her a text, asked her how she was doing. She replied that she was fine, and asked how I was doing. The next morning she texted, she was letting me know that we should go our separate ways. So first she tells him, well, I just want to be over there, and you be over there, here, but we'll still be a couple. Then she says, well, we should go our separate ways. This woman had all of this planned, and we were talking about this today, how it appears it was very thought out and methodical in the way she did this. And there was something around Christmas time that she did that eludes me right now, but she was definitely planning this. Something to do with the bills. Maybe it was one of the bills that she had got him off of it, and he didn't understand what was going on. He didn't think of anything. Oh, it was the mail. She had set the mail to go to the mother's house, and he didn't know that it happened until it was too late, until he was already on the trip. So this was not impulsive. This was thought out. I have not contacted her since. She did mail me a letter saying that she was sorry she left the way she did and that she cared for me. Yeah, right. Not buying it. You send a letter saying, I care about you. No, actions speak louder than words. And your actions are pretty damn clear that you don't care about this guy. Because what you did was just horrible, selfish, and cruel. Really, it was cruel. But that it seemed like we're not communicating anymore. Well, no, you're not communicating anymore. You just up and abandoned this poor guy out of nowhere. And that she needs to live in her mom's home. She closed the letter that she would always remember the good times we had together. Also, enclosed the letter was the engagement ring. Oh, brutal. I have not been in contact with her for about a month now. Man, this woman is heartless. And the other thing is that she told him, well, he's like, well, fine, I'll go live with you at your mom's house. She said, oh, there's not room over here. Incredibly cruel. Obviously, there is room. It's just an excuse. And based on what he was telling me, he doesn't suspect another guy. Of course, there could be, and he's not sure. He acknowledges it's a possibility, but there's no evidence of another guy in this situation. So, let me get to, there's a little bit more. He said, we had a very good relationship, never really argued much at all. I love her very much, and I miss her a lot. Well, this is an absolutely horrendous situation. I mean, you go away for a business trip, you come back, your wife's stuff is gone, and that's just so cruel. And there's really no need to do that. You have to act like an adult. If you choose to be in a relationship and you have to end it, then act like an adult. That person deserves it. I mean, they weren't together for 2 weeks, they were together for 7 years here. And the way she walked away from him, and for me, this is about money. This is about money. And now that she's got all this money, she doesn't care about him. He doesn't mean anything. Maybe she wants to go out and travel or do all kinds of stuff and live a completely different lifestyle. And she just doesn't see him as valuable enough to bring him along to do that. And it's just, I feel for this guy. I could tell he was really heartbroken over this. And I can't say I blame him at all. I would be crushed too. It's so painful to love somebody who just doesn't want you. And it's so confusing sometimes too. Really, it is. Where you're just like, I don't understand how you could do this. How could you give up everything that we had? We had something special. At least I thought it was special. And I've been in those shoes and I felt those same things. And it's really, really difficult. And it takes time. And he's doing the right thing. We're going to do more Skype coachings together. And he'll feel a lot better just talking about it and getting it off his chest. Because guys, honestly, that is truly the way we heal from a breakup. We may not get our ex back. It doesn't happen for everybody. But when you talk about it and you deal with it, you heal it. Okay? Because remember, the unconscious or the unresolved will go repeated. And you got to deal with those things. You got to deal with your issues in order to be healthy and move on and learn to open your heart and trust again. Because if you don't, you're going to be absolutely terrified. You're not going to want to give anybody a chance. And you're just going to be sad and miserable holding on to all this hurt when they've gone on and moved on with their life. So, when you want to get my help personally, go to my website, AskCraig.net, and sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching, I do Skype coaching, and if you need to get a hold of me right away, you can sign up for the emergency coaching. And that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.